Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Okay, welcome back. So, we were discussing equilibrium of a profit maximizing producer if he or she operates in a product market which is competitive in nature, right. And we have discussed until where we reached, that was when in the short run, we were discussing short run, we are yet to discuss his long run equilibrium and all. So, short run we were discussing, okay. And we reached to an extent where in the short run, even if that producer gets some negative profit, okay, he should not stop production immediately, means to some extent he should tolerate that negative profit, because it is not his not tolerating that for something else, rather for his own betterment. Okay. So, two options: if he produce some amount means profit maximizing quantity of output, what is coming in his calculation, in his understanding, okay, using that profit revenue or MR equals to MC, and second slope of the MR curve should be less than slope of the MC curve. Basically, the two profit maximizing conditions, first order and second order conditions. Fulfilling those conditions, whatever optimum quantity of output he should produce, it is coming. So, he is asking himself whether I should produce that. If I produce that, I am getting some negative profit, vis-a-vis whether I can stop production, okay, vis-a-vis that quantity, vis-a-vis zero amount of output, whether I should produce, okay. And we have discussed, since short run there is some fixed cost, right. So, he should produce until that when his total revenue is more than total variable cost. So, we can whatever we have reached in the last lecture, we can start with that lecture again. So, with a diagram, let us start with the diagram. Say suppose, okay. So, as usual we are measuring quantity of output Q in the horizontal axis, and vertical axis all different types of revenues, all different types of costs, price, everything, right. And say suppose this is average total cost line ATC. See, whenever I am writing ATC, T I am putting in the bracket. Why? Because this average total cost sometimes is known also as simply average cost, okay. So, you can write ATC or AC simply, okay. So many books are there where average total cost is referred as simply AC, okay. So, that is why T I am putting in the bracket, okay. So, that is ATC curve, average total cost curve, this is average variable cost curve, and this is suppose marginal cost curve, okay. And suppose this is the situation, and this is the average revenue that is identical to price equals to marginal revenue in this particular case, right. So, we know that both the conditions, or first order and second order profit maximizing condition in this case is satisfied at this point, okay. Suppose that is point E. So, he is getting OQ star amount of output he should produce to maximize his profit. Now, the question is, yes, if he produce this much of quantity, his profit will be maximized, but what is that quantity of profit? What is that amount of profit? Okay. So, if I ask ourselves, okay, so this box area which we have discussed already in the last lecture, this box area is basically total revenue, because this is the price line, amount of price per unit of output, and this much quantity of output he is producing. So, that box area of that rectangular shape, okay, that is total, that is representing total revenue, okay. And when he is producing Q star or Q star amount of output per unit of output, this much average total cost he has to face, okay. So, definitely this larger rectangular area, this red colored rectangular area is representing his total cost. So, definitely revenue minus cost if we take. So, this red color shaded rectangular area is his profit. Of course, this profit is a negative thing, negative profit I am writing, Okay. So, then the question is coming whether he should produce or not. Okay. So, we told that yes, in this particular case he should produce, because whatever loss or he getting the whatever amount of profit negative, that quantity, say suppose minus 100 unit, right. If he stop production, okay, to avoid this minus 100 unit profit, if he stop production, since some fixed cost is there involved, it is a short run discussion, right. So, some fixed cost is there, we can see that his loss will be even more, because in this particular case, okay, whatever fixed cost he has to incur if he produce stop production, or if he produce 0 unit of output, that time what total fixed cost is actually more than the profit, this or magnitude of this profit, okay, absolute value of this negative profit. Okay. So, we told that he should not stop production, rather he should continue, he should tolerate that negative profit. Okay. And when he should stop, that condition we have also derived. We are asking, okay, if he stop production, what will be his profit? If he stop production, his output quantity is 0. So, total revenue will be price into 0. So, total revenue will be 0, minus, since it is a fixed short run case, if he stop production, how much fixed cost he has to incur? Suppose that fixed cost is denoted by F. So, 0 minus F, that will be his total profit if he produce 0 amount of output. Alternatively, if he produce O Q star amount of output, how much profit he is getting? He is getting total profit, whatever revenue he is getting, total revenue minus total variable cost minus total fixed cost, that profit he is getting, right. So, when this left hand side is greater than this right hand side, then definitely he should stop production, right, because this profit he is getting when he is producing 0 amount of output, this profit he is getting when he is producing some positive amount of output, like in the diagram OQ star kind of thing, right, or something else, when this right hand side is the total profit, right. When left hand side is greater than right hand side, definitely he should stop production, right. And if we manipulate this equation a bit, so left hand side is basically minus F, this greater than revenue minus TVC minus F. Okay. So, that implies this minus F, if I take left hand side is basically 0, because minus F and this minus F will be plus F. So, 0, that should be greater than equals to greater than R minus total variable cost, right. So, total variable cost, if I take left hand side, it is basically total variable cost should be more than revenue. Okay. So, if this is the situation, he should stop production. Okay. This we can both side, if I divide by quantity, okay, this will give you, because quantity in any case not equals to 0, okay, when he is producing something, right. So, left hand side will be average variable cost and right hand side will be price, because revenue by cost, revenue by quantity output. So, price. So, when this is the situation, average variable cost is more than price, that time he should stop production. In diagram how we can represent, okay, say suppose, because we do not know where is the price line, where is the demand curve he is facing, that depends on the market demand, overall market demand supply scenario, and that is beyond the control of this particular producer, because anybody in this market, producer, consumer, everybody is a price taker. So, whatever price is coming, he has to take that, right. So, suppose this is the ATC curve, average total cost curve, suppose this is the AVC curve and this is the MC curve, okay, and suppose this is the price line. Say average revenue is identical to price equals to marginal revenue. Of course, we are measuring quantity this side, all the revenues that side, all the cost that side, price, everything we are measuring in the vertical axis as usual. Suppose this. Okay. So, look at here in this particular case, if he produce some amount of output, not 0 amount of output. So, both the first order and second order condition is telling that he should produce this much of output. Okay. Now, the question is, if he produce that much of output, how much revenue he will get? This is total revenue. How much total cost he will incur? This larger box. Okay. huge amount of negative profit, right. So, this green shaded area will be negative profit that time, okay. And since this gap is what, because this is for that much quantity, suppose this is Q1, OQ1 output, this is the average variable cost and this is the ATC. So, definitely this gap is the average fixed cost, okay. So, average fixed cost, and so this green color box is basically his total fixed cost, okay. So, if he produce, his total profit is, or negative profit amount is more than the total fixed cost. Look at here, negative profit area is basically this blue colored area, okay, and this green colored area is basically total fixed cost. So, obviously, he should stop production. So, we are getting, so here the price line we have drawn, because that is not ruled out, price line can be that kind also, okay, because that is beyond my control, me being the producer, that is beyond my control, right, I do not know, okay. So, that is why. So, to whatever condition we got, average variable cost should be greater than price. If that is the case, he should stop production, that we are reflecting here in this diagram, right. If that is the case, okay, his negative profit will be more than if he stop production, whatever negative profit he will earn, okay. More than means more than in absolute value, okay. Okay. So, that is the thing. So, he should, so whenever price line will be below the average variable cost line, he should stop production, okay. So, if that is the case, now let us look at what is the supply decision. Until this we have finished in the last class. So, what is the supply decision of this producer? Look, with a diagram, let us discuss. So, supply curve, if you can remember, both individual supply curve and market supply curve we have discussed earlier, right. So, supply curve, horizontal axis we measured quantity supplied and vertical axis price of that commodity, right. So, in this particular case, when we are drawing his competitive producers profit maximizing decision in a diagram, look at here, exactly that thing we are discussing here. We are measuring quantity in the horizontal axis and vertical axis, many things we are measuring along, one of them is the price, right. So, we can, if we want, we can draw supply curve also in this framework. Let us try to draw, and this is the MC curve, right. See, when this is the price line, okay, how much quantity he will produce? This much quantity he will produce. When this is the price line, how much quantity will produce? Definitely this much quantity should produce. So, every this much quantity we are talking about or referring, all these quantities are basically profit maximizing output choice, right. Given the price scenario, given the market demand scenario, how much quantity of output should I produce so that my profit will be maximized in that way, okay. So, exactly the same way, if this is the price line, this much quantity he should produce. Look at here. So, alternatively we are telling that when price is this much, this is his quantity production, and of course, whatever he is producing, that he will supply in the market. When price is this much is the quantity supplied. When price is this much is the quantity supplied, and so on, right. So, essentially how much supply he will how much amount of product he will supply in the market, that depends on what is the price, right. And that supply or quantity supply is determined by, or that supply amount is moving along the marginal cost line, okay. So, this producer's marginal cost curve is his supply curve, but not the entire marginal cost curve, a segment or selected portion of marginal cost curve is his supply curve. Which is that selected portion? Look, I know that if price line is this will be the supply, this will be the supply. No, in that way, if price line is this will be the supply. Okay, in that way, supply is falling as price is coming down, supply is quantity supplied is falling. okay. But until this point, right, when this is price line, suppose that price line is becoming just tangent to the lowest point of the average variable cost curve, right. That time what will happen? This much is his optimum supply, profit maximizing supply, okay, this much his profit maximizing supply. So, if he produce this much and supply whatever profit he will get, okay, if he stop production, exactly same amount of profit he will get, both are negative, exactly same amount. So, at this point when he is, or alternatively when this is the price line given the cost structure of that producer, right, he is indifferent between two options, one, either stop production or either producing 0 unit of output or producing this quantity of output. Both the cases his profit will be negative, and that negative amount is the exactly the fixed cost amount, okay. So, that time he is indifferent, either this much of output or 0 amount of output, okay. But if price line goes even below the average variable cost curve, okay. So, that time he should stop production, right. So, we can tell that his supply curve is basically when price line is just becoming tangent to the lowest point of the average variable cost curve, that time he is supplying either 0 or this amount, okay. I am telling, let me repeat, either 0 amount of output or this much amount of output, not in between anything, out of these two any of them, okay, not in between this much, no, either 0 or this much, okay, that way. But if price line goes even further below, then he should definitely stop production and he should produce 0 amount of output. So, if we ask what is his supply curve will be definitely its a vertical axis itself, okay, until the lowest amount of average variable cost. No, when average variable cost curve here, what is the amount of average variable cost? Definitely this is the average variable cost, right. So, for this segment price below that his supply is 0. So, supply curve will be coinciding with the vertical axis, and at this point there is a gap here, okay. So, he is indifferent, he can produce at that point or at this point, but if price line goes little bit above, he should move along this MC curve, okay. So, how his supply curve look like? His supply curve look like, say, this blue color kind of thing, this, there is a gap, and then this point is basically the lowest point of the average variable cost curve, ABC, and this is the MC line, right. So, we can tell the profit maximizing supply curve of an individual producer whose cost structure is this kind of thing, this supply curve is this, okay, this, there is a gap, and this. So, a segment of a portion or a segment of his marginal cost curve, or that portion of marginal cost curve which lies above the average variable cost curve. Look, this portion is the marginal costs curves portion which is above the average variable cost, and you know that this side average variable cost curve and marginal cost curve are starting from the same point. That is the case, right. Okay. Okay. So, that is the thing, right. So, this portion, this red color portion, this is basically the segment of MC curve which lies above the average variable cost curve. So, that is his supply curve, okay, profit maximizing supply curve, okay. So, that is the thing. Now, the question is, let us introduce two important concepts here. So, we do not know where will be the price line, right. Say, suppose ATC curve, suppose this is the AVC curve and this is the MC curve. Suppose the price line such that it is just becoming tangent to the lowest point of the ATC curve, okay. That time what will be his profit? His profit will be exactly 0, because ask yourself, this will be the optimum quantity of output, he should produce, and per unit of output this is the price. So, what is the total revenue? This box area. Okay. And when he is producing at this point, right, what is the average total cost? Exactly equals to the price, right. So, what is the total cost then? That into quantity. So, whatever total revenue he will get, exactly same amount of total cost he will incur. So, his profit quantity will be 0. So, that is why this point, say suppose B point, we are telling that point is B, that is called break even point, break even point, break even point, very important concept. Break even point means that is the point, if he operates at that point, he will be just breaking even. Breaking even means what? He could just recover from revenue, he could just able to recover his total cost. Okay. So, break even point, 0 profit point. Okay. And at this point, say suppose this point is S, this point is called shutdown point, SHUT, shutdown point. Shutdown point. Shutdown point is why? Because as price line is going even down and down, okay, he should tolerate, but if it goes below this S point, price line goes below this S point, he should no longer tolerate negative profit. So, he should shut down his workshop. Okay. Let me tell you, say when we introduced that competitive market, we told free entry, free exit, right. So, exit and shutdown, vis-a-vis shutdown, what is the difference? Shutdown. Shutdown is a temporary phenomena, means it is a short run decision that I am stopping my production temporarily, and if for some reason tomorrow or in future market situation is little bit improved, in this particular case market situation improved means what? If price increases little bit, right, then I will start production again. Okay. So, this is a short run decision thing, shut down kind of thing. Okay. And exit is a long run thing, permanently exiting the market. Okay. If you try to understand this terminology, shut down, any workshop, any factory, or even your nearby some shop, okay, they have a in the shop gate there is a shutter, no, metal shutter is there. So, as if because market situation is not that much optimistic, okay, so that is why the owner of that shop is downing the shutter of that shop, okay, that is why shut down. Okay. So, it is a temporary thing, today I am not opening my shop, in that kind of situation. In that way you try to understand shut down this phrase. Okay. So, it is a temporary decision, it is a short run decision to stop your production temporarily, and if tomorrow or in future condition improves, market condition, market price condition improves, I will start production again. That is the thing. Okay. But exit point, exit is a basically long run decision when he will completely leave this business out of the market. Okay. So, exit point we are coming. So, you understand two important concepts we are introducing here, one is called shutdown point, another is called break even point. So, at this point B point is basically he is getting 0 profit. So, all these discussions are short run decision. If their counterpart, if it is a long run situation, what will happen? What will be his decision making? Of course, just put, okay, say suppose this is the ATC curve, average total cost, look, this is a long run ATC curve. So, that is why it is starting from some finite distance in the vertical axis, right, ATC curve, and suppose this is the MC curve. Okay. And since this is a long run situation, what is the ATC curve? That is the ABC curve also. Okay. So, look at here this point, say suppose when price line is at this level, that is the market demand curve, right, this is the price per unit of the output, right. So, of course, he will be happy, he will produce this much of quantity and he will enjoy some profit. What is the profit amount? Of course, this shaded area will be the profit amount, right. Now, suppose for some reason say price line becomes this, becoming tangent exactly the lowest point of the ATC curve. What will happen at this point? This point his profit will be exactly 0 amount, and this is the basically exit point. Why exit point? Suppose if price line even go below, right, he will immediately stop production, because this point exit point, suppose this is E point I am telling, this exit point as if this is the lowest point of the average variable cost curve, because here what is the ATC, that is the AVC, right, because there is no fixed cost, it is long run situation, right. So, he should stop production. So, this point is called exit point. Okay. So, in the long run, okay, lowest point of the ATC curve is the exit point, because price if go below that level, okay, he should stop production and he should exit from the market. And since it is a long run decision, it is a permanent kind of thing. He is deciding, no, whatever product he was producing, no, I will not produce this product, maybe he will start a new products business or something like that. That is the thing, and it is a long run thing. Now, the question is, if long run, say suppose this is the price situation, what will happen? This existing producer is getting some positive profit. This positive profit information will attract many potential entrants. Some people know, suppose your neighbor, you are this kind of producer, right, your neighbor is saying that you are getting a lot of profit, right, that will attract your neighbor to into this kind of business. I am giving the neighbor example, but it may not be neighbor, anybody, okay, who is willing, okay, potential entrant I am telling, right, they can enter into the market. So, as a result what will happen? So, when positive profit sum of you are earning, it will attract potential entrants will enter into the market, they will collectively produce also something, say 5 entrants are entering, they are also producing some amount of output of the same product, right. As a result, market supply curve will shift rightward, okay. So, market demand curve suppose is this kind, earlier market supply curve was there, and as a result this was the price line, right. Now, due to new entrants, suppose market supply curve will shift rightward, as a result this will be the price line. So, price line will come down, okay. So, this process, when this process will stop, of course, when this is the thing, look at here, price line came down here, still this producer is getting some positive profit, okay. So, that positive profit information again will attract some other people. In that way, this mechanism, still some more people will enter. In this way, that entry will stop when price line comes at exactly this level, when he is getting 0 profit, okay. Now, suppose some further people enter somewhere, or from this level price to this level price, suppose so many people enters and price dropped from here to here, okay. So, this producer who were getting earlier positive profit, he is getting now negative profit, and not only he, some of the, like him may get some similar kind of profit. So, some of them will go out of the market, negative profit they will not tolerate, because it is a long run situation, will go out of the market. When they will exit from the market, again market supply curve will little bit shift leftward. So, this mechanism, free entry free exit mechanism will make sure that price line becomes the tangential, horizontal price line becomes tangent at the lowest point of the ATC curve, okay, and each of them will get 0 profit. Now, the question is, if they get 0 profit, what is the point of doing business? Look, here 0 profit means actually they are earning opportunity cost, because the total cost what we have talking about here, we are talking about, right, the total cost includes both explicit as well as implicit cost. Implicit cost what we incorporated? Of course, if you do not engage into this business, what is your opportunity cost? Say your job offer example we have given, right. So, when total cost we are calculating, we are incorporating that opportunity cost. So, 0 profit means that opportunity cost included 0 profit. That means, if I stop production, that opportunity cost I can earn, okay, and if I do production, same amount of opportunity cost in any case I am earning here, right. So, it is that kind of situation, so nothing to lose. Of course, when your profit is becoming even smaller than that opportunity cost, or your foregone income which you could earn by accepting the job offer, then you will stop perhaps and you will go to join that job, right. So, that is the thing. So, 0 profit not necessarily means 0 income, it is opportunity cost you are earning, because implicit cost is involved there in the total cost, okay. So, that is the thing. So, this mechanism will make sure that in the long run producer is getting 0 profit, okay. Let us stop here, and the long run supply curve of the this producer, supply curve, of course this supply curve will be this portion. So, green color will be his long run supply curve, right. There is a break here, this, there is a break, and then this is his long run supply curve. So, when we are talking about short run supply curve, long run supply curve, it is about an individual producer, right. So, what will be the market supply in the short run, market supply in the long run, those we will discuss in our next lecture. Let us stop here.